Hi everyone, it's Erin Elam here, taking a moment to have a seat on the floor and do a short video for you about how animals view death and dying. This is a subject that's probably the number one thing that I get calls about and asked about to help people with their animals when they're making their transition, and also to help people who are left with animals whose human owners have made their transitions. And it's really probably one of the most difficult things for us humans to understand, because animals really have a very, very different view of death and dying than we do. As humans, we have a lot of anxiety about death and dying, and we have a lot of fear about it. Some people are actually quite terrified of it. My 88-year-old mother is literally terrified of dying now that she is nearing the end of her life. And it is quite sad to me to watch that struggle. And humans have a lot of conversation about, wasn't that tragic that so-and-so died, or how traumatic it was that so-and-so died. Well, it's tragic for us that so-and-so died because we feel the loss, but it's not tragic for the person who died. And animals know and understand this. They understand that it is simply part of the circle of life. None of us are getting out alive, and we need to come to terms with the fact that at some point we all, each and every one of us, will make our transition to non-physical. What makes it easier and more comforting is to understand that our souls live on, and our souls are not what dies. It's this physical body that we're in right now. It's just this physical form. When I put my gelding down a few years ago, he had cancer. And he told me later that it was literally like 1 minute he was here and the next minute he wasn't. 1 minute he was in this physical body, the next minute he wasn't. He was free and healthy and happy and clean and, able to live without pain and discomfort. So for animals, they are much more present on a day-to-day basis than us humans are. They don't project into the future fears about dying. Animals don't have a lot of fear anyway. We can teach animals to have fear by abusing them. I mean, if you beat an animal will learn fear and adopt fear. If you neglect an animal will learn fear and adopt fear. But that is not their natural state. Their natural state is coming from a place of complete knowing and understanding about the circle of life and the eternity of life and the way that the process happens. So what I've come to understand from helping a lot of animals make this transition to non-physical is that literally the only anxiety that they have about it is they don't want to be alone when it happens. I mean, that's the biggest thing that they say to me is, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to go through this by myself. Please ask my human to be there with me, the whole way through. And so for us humans, that's difficult because we love this animal so much. And we're watching something that gives us great anxiety and stirs such emotion in us. So how could we be anything but emotional? And I'm not saying don't be emotional. What I'm saying is if you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like screaming, scream. But be there with your animal when the time comes, because that's what they want the most from us. And I will tell you that if you don't do it, you will regret it. I have a dog that was, still can't talk about it without crying. Very close to me, and I had her for 13 years, and because of work issues I was not able to be there with her at the end of her life when she made her transition, and I have regretted it. To this day I have regretted it. So what I want you to know is don't let that happen to you. Your animal wants you to be with them. So what animals do is animals mirror for us They mirror for us our emotional issues, energetic issues, physical issues, mental issues. And so a lot of times when you hear, particularly dogs will wander off and go to die by themselves. That is not necessarily because they want to die by themselves. It could be because there's a lot of chaos or anger in the home, and the animal just wants a peaceful place to die and to make that transition. So it is not, that they want to go off and die by themselves. They just want out of all that chaos. So a lot of the conversations that I have with animals that don't center around death and dying are actually about the chaos and the anger issues, or the arguing and fighting issues that are going on in the homes in which they live or with the people that they are around. So, but that's a topic for a different day. So for animals, they're very pragmatic. I mean, they're very present. They live in the now. They don't spend a whole lot of time talking about the past or dealing with the past. My little rescue pony Doodlebug, who we feel like was always abused when we did the communication session with her, she didn't want to talk about it. She was like, that, it's done. That happened. There ain't anything I can do about it anymore. Let's let it go and move on. What she wanted to know was, am I in a safe space? Are you going to treat me with dignity? Are you gonna feed me and keep me? And I promised her that at that point in time, she would have a home for life with me, which she has had. So it is, animals are much more basic than we humans are. What animals think about is, where's my next meal coming from? Or, is this thunderstorm gonna create hail, and do I need to find some big tree to go stand under? Yes, animals will go stand under a tree in a thunderstorm, I know. But it's what they're hardwired to do. So that's what they think about. Those are the things that they think about. It's safety first for them, and then comfort. With human beings, we think about all kinds of things. Our monkey minds just go all the time. So we have these conversations with ourselves about death, and we're afraid of it. And what we don't do is learn to soothe ourselves by coming to an understanding that it is simply a process of transitioning from being in a physical body to having our souls be free and not being in a physical body. So animals will sometimes, in an effort to comfort their humans, come back to us. You might see a vision of your animal, out of the corner of your eye. Or you might see an animal that looks exactly like yours. Or, as one of my clients said, she heard music one day, and there was no music playing in the house, but it was the same music she used to play when she was in the house when she had that animal. And she had been so distraught about losing the animal that she couldn't bring herself to play that music. And she would have sworn that the music was playing, but it wasn't. There was no iPod on, there was no radio on, there was no TV on, no nothing. And she knew then, with a little bit of help from me, that her animal was telling her that it was okay, and that her animal was still with her. It was a cat, and she missed her cat very badly. So it was just a sign that her cat was given to her that said, go on, live your life. I'm still here. Let's have fun. Let's be in the groove. Come on, get back with it. So animals will also grieve for us when we pass away, or for their animal friends when they pass away. But they typically do not get stuck there. Every now and then you might read something about an animal who, won't leave its owner's grave or something like that. But that's really the rarity. My beautiful gelding made his transition a few years ago after a 2-year bout with cancer, and his best friend, Radar, the damn donkey, whom some of you may have heard me talk about, spent 10 or 11 nights sleeping on his grave. And then one morning he just got up, shook off, and literally looked around and said, okay, let's get on with this. It wasn't that he didn't still grieve, or that he didn't miss Bucky, or that he didn't want Bucky to be there playing with him, but he was like, all right, let's move forward, let's go. And so we humans could learn something from animals in that respect. They do grieve, but their grieving is in perspective to what's going on, and they are always present, and always looking at the moment they're in now for the most that they can get out of it. So animals will come to us sometimes also to teach us things. So if you're going through an end-of-life experience with an animal that you treasure, it very well could be that you might have some beliefs, negative beliefs, about the death and dying process, and that animal is going through the process for you to come to terms with your beliefs and maybe alter your outlook and your opinions about things. So I work a lot with humans and animals who are going through this death and dying transition. It is something that I am so honored to do for the animals and be with them and help them over. It is a beautiful thing to participate in. I just wish that everybody seeing this video now could have that experience to know how beautiful it is when the transition is made, and how happy our animals are when they make that transition back to non-physical. It is one of the privileges of my life to be able to assist humans and their animals during those times. So I'm going to be making a series of short videos like this on some different subjects. If you would like to learn more about animal communication or about our animals, then you can visit my website. It's www.erinelam.com. That's ERINELAM.com. And you can check out the videos. If you're very interested in animal communication, I would offer you the opportunity to study with me by taking one of my animal communication courses. Right now I'm offering them by teleconference or webinar, just depends on what's going on, and also in the process of completing the workbooks and manuals for those classes that will be available for sale on my website. So I hope that this video has helped you come to understand a little bit about how animals view death and dying. I hope it's of some comfort to you. I hope it's given you some things to think about. And until next time, tally ho.